Hey guys, hello. How's it going? Okay, so it's another Thursday night, and we are here ready to talk through some interesting things that have started up this week. So I'm always interested to. Uh, I like going through like the real estate things, but also all of the stuff that comes up that like it's important to talk about. So, I've met with quite a few people this week and will continue to do so throughout the rest of next week, um, saying that like they've moved here, they've relocated here within maybe the last 2 years or so. Some have relocated here in the past 3 to 4 years. And I'm hearing a pretty normal trend. So, as you guys know, we try to be honest, authentic, and I always want to tell you like the real deal. So, anyways, if you are joining here tonight for the Greenville GAB and for our community here, you guys that show up week in, week out, do me a favor, go in the comments, tell me where you're watching from. And let's see here. Tell me one thing that you are excited about going into September, because we're halfway through the month of August. And I'm always excited to for all the things that come up. So school just started for my kids, and so that's fun. Means that we can get back to our routine. And for the people that I don't know, I have a lot of people in my life that don't have kids, and I feel like it's still a season of good routine. So let me know where you're watching from, and let me know something that you're excited about as we go into the month of September, because there is not enough good in this world, and I feel like we should all share it. So do that, and have a fun personal thing from this week. So as you guys know, I just moved to a new property and a little bit of acreage, and my dog was going absolutely crazy. And my daughter was actually awake super late. And she said, "Mom, I think I found I saw a dog out in our front yard." I was like, "That's weird to be all the way out here. It's dark, it's late, everything like that." Well, come to find out, out here as you get into some of the more rural areas around the upstate, um, it's not abnormal for dogs to get out. And I walked out into the backyard and found two beagles. They were definitely meant to be together, but they were not at home. So we took in the beagles, and they were very tired. And one thing that I tell people a lot about Greenville is that if you use social media and you are on the platforms, that you should know that Greenville works off of Facebook. Okay. Yes, there's pages on Instagram and LinkedIn and so on and so forth. But if you need to get to know something, Greenville Facebook groups are the place to get it done. So me and my husband both, we took pictures of the dogs and posted them to the Facebook groups. And no joke, less than 24 hours, we had found the owners and they had come to pick up the dogs. That's just something that's happened in my week. I don't know why I'm sharing that other than to tell you like Greenville's a very interconnected community, and it's not terribly hard to I don't know, to talk to people. Picked up the phone and called the owner, and there we go. So I hope I don't get a lot of dogs out on my property, but you know what? It's a thing. I've got a dog. You guys have dogs too, and I love to hear about them. So definitely let me know. So with that, we've got a very interesting lineup tonight, and just a couple different things. I am, however, going to of course, we start off the show every week by talking a little bit of real estate. I like to let you know where the current real estate market is, some of the things that I see coming down the pike. And really, this week we've got quite a few things to talk about. And then also towards the end of the conversation tonight, I have a pretty hot topic that makes its circles around Greenville quite often with the affordable housing option. So I'm going to go a little bit into that. But tonight we're talking real estate. We're talking things to do as you guys are planning your trips in the fall. Or maybe you're already here and you're like, Aubree, I'm new. Like, what is there to do? I've got some really fun stuff coming up. And so there we go. So with that, before we get into it, if you are just jumping on the show tonight, do me a favor, go over to the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. I always think that's fun. We always seem to have a group from New Jersey, Arizona, Florida, so on and so forth. So let me know where you're watching from and something cool that you're excited about going into September. So with that, we'll see if anybody's over here. We got a couple people. Hey, Eric, how's it going? Thomas from Florida. Hey, how's it going? Looking to make a move to Greenville from Florida, leaving Florida, moving to Greenville, but from Boston, Mass. Yes, definitely. We have seasons here. And according to my dad, and if you guys have been around the show at all, my dad is in the space industry. So he's actually watching weather patterns right now. And he says that we should be expecting an early fall here. So I'm excited to see that. And because fall is by far my favorite season. I love the cooler weather. We actually see like colors in the leaves. So it's a fun time of year. It gets really mild around here too in the fall. So I understand needing to see seasons. And then let's see here. Hey, so exciting. Greetings from Texas. Oh my goodness. Originally from Florida, but received an offer on your home in Florida today. Congratulations. I have clients that are struggling to sell their houses in Florida right now. I have somebody that this week just reached out and told us that they are putting everything on hold until the springtime next year because their house has been on the market for 2 months and hasn't sold. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that too, because we're seeing it here in our market, but I'm seeing some encouraging things. So I don't want you guys to be discouraged. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get back over here to it. I'm going to make sure, goodness gracious, I didn't set up my screen correctly tonight. Golly. Let's do this. All right. Hey, here we go. Let me take this off here. All right, technical difficulties. Technology is great whenever it works, y'all. So, all right. So let's talk about the real estate market really fast. Now, weekly, I'm definitely going to tell you, like, I'm going to go over numbers like once a month or so as they update, because I think those are important. And here's what I'm seeing in the market just in the last like 2 weeks. And I'm going to also plug into the last kind of what to expect next week. Okay. So with this real estate market, interest rates. Now, I'm not a lender, so I'm not going to tell you interest rate percentages. Okay. I will tell you, though, I'm starting to see much lower interest rates. So what does that do? And why is that important? And why are we even talking about it? Okay. So I have clients that we've been on the market for over 30 days. We are approaching 60 days on market. Now, what happens in the real estate market and what's happening specifically in the Greenville upstate market, and you guys are probably going to see it in your markets too, is that when interest rates go up and they're like at 7-8% plus, and that's really where we were, buyers, you guys that are looking to buy a house, slowed way down. And it's one of those where we're like, you know what? We can't afford to buy the house right now because of the interest rates. If the interest rate was 2 points lower, we could afford the monthly payment. And it all comes down to that monthly payment. So I've had a seller that like they have to sell. They need to sell. It's not just a thing where they want to move to a bigger house, or they have a life change, or they have a new job where they have to move out of the area, like and could rent the house. No, like they're in a financial situation where it really is going to make sense for them to sell the house and pay off some debt and move on. So they've been hounding me. They're like, Aubree, why are we not selling? We need to do another open house. We need to do this. We need to do that. What's wrong? What's happening? And I'm like, hold on. Here it is. So with the higher interest rates, people don't want to afford the house. When we see interest rates start going down, obviously there's some pent up buyer demand in the real estate market, and they will come back to the market. So definitely, we are looking at like why does this happen? And obviously it's people want a lower monthly payment. So I kid you not, I had this conversation with her last week, and then I updated her again today, and we are seeing buyers come back to the market. She's gotten 3 showings just in the last 48 hours, when for the first month we had 0 showings. And it wasn't because of price or anything like that. I really, truly believe it's just because of the market. We had another house on the market that has been on the market since June, and it sat, and we did over $20,000 worth of work to this property to get it ready for the market. And we were like, this thing's going to sell fast. It's beautiful, has the perfect big yard, everything. And you should go look it up. It's 217 Quail Creek in Liberty, South Carolina. And definitely it's something that we've been like looking and running ads and going, what's happening? Y'all, it's had 6 showings in the last week, and we went under contract last night, really close to our list price, and it just took time. So really what it's coming down to is patience. And I think we all got spoiled rotten during the pandemic. The pandemic was just unprecedented levels of appreciation. People that were like, well, let's just go ahead and move. Or, hey, to be quite honest, I don't like the politics in my state. I don't like what they're telling us that we have to do. I hear this all the time. Or maybe it's, hey, cost of living in my state just is astronomical. We don't want to afford to live here anymore. It's not necessarily that they can't afford. And I talked to some of you guys that you're like, we can't afford to live in Florida anymore because of the insurance, which I think is a real deal. But really, it's you don't want to afford to live there anymore. So what do you do? And that's why we have these people that are going, well, maybe we move to South Carolina. Maybe we look for a place that aligns more to our values and more to, what we deem important, aligns more to how much taxes are. I got an email today from a client that is coming into town in like 3 weeks, and they are specifically, they were like, why does this house have $7,000 in taxes? Well, South Carolina has 2 different types of tax rates. One is a 4% owner occupant tax rate, and the other one is a 6% non-occupancy owner occupant tax rate. When the difference in those, I know it's 4% and 6%, and that's only a difference of 2%, but really the taxes are almost 3%, 3 times higher for a non-occupant or a second home. So I know that's a big surprise for a lot of people that they end up getting here and then they don't understand the tax rate. So that's how that works. And really what I look at, I look at a lot is, how does that happen? Now, I do want to address something I addressed in a live, one of these streams. Oh golly, we addressed the National Association of Realtors settlement months ago. And this is something that I would love to get an attorney on the show to really go through the settlement and what it means and so on. But I'm getting a lot of confusion right now from the consumer, from you guys, about some really nasty headlines that are popping up in the news. And if you haven't heard about it, honestly, nothing is changing. All right. That's the quick bumper sticker that I can give you is nothing is changing in a real estate transaction because it's always been done this way. However, here's what is changing and here's what you need to know. Okay. First, we have always negotiated everything within every type of real estate contract. So you have a real estate sales contract, then you have a different type of contract. You have a contract between me and a seller. Then you also have a contract between me and a potential buyer. So these contracts are what you have to sign to hire an agent to work for you. And here in the upstate, here in South Carolina, honestly, nationwide, those documents were never really enforced. Okay. It's something that it was more of a like, yeah, that's a great business practice. And if you want to protect yourself, you sign it, but you don't have to sign it. You can just get one, be okay and go show them a house. That'll be fine. Well, now, because of this settlement, okay, it has honestly been at least a decade-long court battle, okay, are all around real estate commissions and disclosure and making sure that it's clear. So let me make one thing crystal clear right now. The way real estate is being done and the way that this settlement says real estate should be done, nothing has changed. Okay. You could always negotiate the percentage that you pay a listing agent, and you can always negotiate the percentage that a buyer's agent gets paid. And that second one, I think, is what got glossed over too much. And then it landed us in a settlement. Okay. $415 million and 33% of that went to an attorney. So I don't know. I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that, I think there's something wrong in the system, don't you think? But anyways, I go back to what's going on with the National Association of Realtors and commission changes. Nothing has changed. So I sat down with a seller today and really, really cool people. They actually watch the video. So if you're watching, hi. And we went through the new documents that go into effect this week. And they are looking to sell their house. So if you are looking for a really cute 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, small, fantastic house within 5 minutes of downtown Greenville for, get this, under $400,000, send me an email. I've got it for you. It's completely worth it. But anyways, we sat there and we had the conversation. I said, okay, this is what I am, this is what I charge. And then this is what I advise that we offer to a cooperating buyer's agent. And we can offer them whatever you would like, but this is what I believe is going to bring us a good, solid buyer for your house and cooperate with the buyer agent. And they were like, yes, like absolutely, let's do that. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to cooperate with a buyer's agent. A good one, okay? Because I will tell you that I think good agents make a transaction smooth and easy, and we take the stress off because we know what we're doing. I closed a transaction today with some great people here in Travelers Rest, and we had the same conversation, and we were like, we can offer whatever you want to a buyer's agent. Here is my fee, and here's what I advise we offer to a buyer's agent. No problems. Okay. The buyer's agent is not going away. All right. That's how that has always been done. Now, on the flip side, for a buyer's agent, this is how it should have always been done. And if you were working with me, this is how this is done. We sit down, we have a conversation. We say, hey, cool, you are looking to buy a house here in Greenville or surrounding areas. I'm super excited to help you. Obviously, we want to do the best job we possibly can. Great communication, make sure that we're, always on the same page, in the same loop, so on and so forth. I charge a 3% commission for a buyer's agent, and I'm never going to let that stand in the way of you getting your house. So do I have your permission to negotiate for it in every avenue I possibly can? And then at the end of the day, if for some reason I can't negotiate it, is it okay if I come back and talk to you? I would say 9.5 times out of 10 say yes. Okay? Because we know that good agents advise their clients well. And I haven't had any problems. So with that, this week, all of our paperwork, agency documents, things that you signed to hire me, hire my team, they all changed. They all updated. And then also our contracts updated as well. So we actually have to get permission from you that, hey, like this money is going to be used towards closing costs and you're okay negotiating that. Some very interesting conversations happening in the real estate world. And it's not affecting the consumer necessarily. At least we hope not. Because here's what happens. If agents don't do their job, if realtors don't do their job, you guys that are coming into the area to buy a house, sellers, if they don't cooperate or they don't offer buyer agent commission, then what incentivizes an agent to bring a buyer? But the seller says, oh, I'm going to make all that money back. True, you could. And true, a buyer can pay their agent. That is in the contract. That always has been. And I don't think anybody's really going to want to come up with an extra $8,000 to $15,000 in order to in order to buy a house. So if anything, it's going to make it more expensive to buy a house. So with that, I think it's something that we really want to make sure that we're educated. We understand what's happening in the industry. I can tell you the real estate industry is picking up with lower interest rates. And if you pay attention to the news and stuff like this, come talk to me. Come talk to a trusted realtor. Let's work through it so that you understand it. I've had that conversation twice today with clients. It was great. So with that, my little quick tidbit about real estate. Let's come back over here. I saw another quick comment. Oh, fun. Okay. So, hey, hi, hello, you're welcome. So I just helped another client of mine buy a house in Pine Valley. And I'm probably going to be taking another client of mine there in probably about 3 weeks. So I'm very familiar with The builder agents there, Will Alexander, is awesome. I love working with him. So definitely, if there's anything that I can do to help, would love to help you buy a house. So, all right, with that, let's kind of get into some of the stuff about Greenville and the upstate. So, one of the things that popped up, I've got two things actually that popped up as I was looking at like what's coming soon, what's happening in Greenville, so on and so forth. So, with that, let's go ahead over here. All right. So this fun picture here is the Indie Craft Parade. And that starts tomorrow night, I believe. And it is just a massive art and craft show. And it's more than just an arts and craft show. So with that, what I would tell you to do is definitely if you're here in town, you should go to it. The Indie Craft Parade is wonderful. This is a really fun article too, by the way, because it talks about first dibs. So they're calling it a date night. So first dibs for the Indie Craft Parade preview party is literally if you are looking to like, I don't know, go grab some local art, or you just want to get some of the local flavor of like, okay, what is around here? Indie craft is highly sought after. It's hard to get into. Back in my day, whenever I did artwork for was trying to make a living as an artist for about 3 years. And it's an incredibly hard show to get into. But I have several friends that'll be there. You make jewelry and have different artwork, and planters, hats, bags. Guys, if you're looking for a place to find or go ahead and start about your Christmas shopping or something like that, definitely go to the Indie Craft Parade. I always think it's fun to support local. So support local, go to the Indie Craft Parade and see my friends. Specifically, I do have a friend. It's actually my daughter's best friend's mom. Her name is Melissa Giglio, and she's going to be there this weekend. And she makes the most beautiful jewelry, and it's sent all over the country, but she works here and lives here. So it's really cool and definitely something that I would highly recommend going out and checking in on. So tomorrow night is the first dibs opening for Indie Craft Parade. It is so that specific event is a $25 a ticket event. It goes from 6 to 9. And then it is located at the Judson Mill. So that's another place that I should definitely take you sometime. It's very similar to the Taylor's Mill, where they've put businesses into one of the old mills. So over there's a grocery store, there's a spa, there's a church, there's an axe throwing place, there's a brewery, you name it. And like Judson Mill also has a whole bunch of apartments there. It's an apartment complex. It's a massive place. Definitely somewhere to go and check out. And then Indie Craft Parade goes throughout the weekend. And again, it's something to do. And it comes around every year. All right. So next I want to do a quick business spotlight. And for the business spotlight here, I want to talk about Sunrift. Okay, so if you have visited Greenville or surrounding areas at all, if you've come into Travelers Rest and you drive down Main Street, specifically if you're looking for a great breakfast spot, and you probably have seen the reviews about Tandem Creperie. Tandem's a great place. You should definitely plan on going there for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But you will see this building across the way called Sunrift Adventures, and it has a really cool history. So Sunrift has been around for probably, I forget. Let's see here. What does it say in the article here? I read it earlier. Since the 80s, I believe. So we're looking at coming up on like 40 to 50 years. Now, Sunrift did start out in another part of Greenville, but then they moved to Travelers Rest before TR was a thing. All right. Before there was really anything out here. And what's happened is Sunrift is this really cool store that has just kind of grown with Travelers Rest. So you obviously from the picture, you can tell you can buy kayaks and canoes there. You can buy all sorts of different hiking gear. One of the guys at my closing today had a brand new hat that said Swamp Rabbit Trail on it, had a really cool bicycle on it. They do sell bicycles, all sorts of kinds of bicycles, and they do bicycle repair. So I know a lot of you guys that are coming here to the area or moving here to the upstate. We do life outside. I talk about it all the time. So with that, this is a really cool place that does really good business and has some really cool product and is good about like helping you keep it nice and keep it up. So Sunrift Adventures, I think, is always a cool place to visit. It's packed, like you walk in and there's just stuff everywhere. But it's very, very nice. And definitely like Travelers Rest has grown up around Sunrift. It's a great business. The owners are really nice. They're local. You should definitely go check that out. All right. So let's see here. So before I go back into all these other things, if you guys have any questions about the area or you're new here and you're like, what do we do? Or, hey, Aubree, I live out in Boiling Springs and, where can I go? Or what's the best area to go shopping? Or, I don't know, what do we do for fun? Or what can we expect going into the fall and winter? Make sure you ask me those questions. I would love to help out. And then obviously, if you're moving here, I run a real estate team. So you should totally reach out to me or the team and we'd love to help. Okay, so halfway through here. So the next thing I saw, and this is something if you follow any of the business reviews and so on and so forth, the Inc. 5000 list came out, and this is basically ranking businesses and their growth, and several Greenville businesses showed up on the growth list. So not really surprising to me was Big Money Retirement Solutions. Now, why is this not super surprising to me? So let me tell you really fast. Sideline this just for a second. So Retirement Solutions, and then I think about, okay, well, right now I can tell you that the top two demographics that we help move here to the area are the millennial generation and the boomer generation. And I'm like, if they're 55 to 65, I think they'll probably need some retirement planning. So that right there, and the fact that it's here in Greenville, I think is really cool. But yeah, it doesn't make, it's not surprising to me that that's here. So other businesses, tech, coffee, real estate, we have more tech, services. Then we have some like software companies, logistics, just a lot of things. Here's another real estate builder. And I'm seeing just a lot of tech as well. And consulting style businesses. So these businesses are growing, they're fast growing. And it's something that I think it's good to know whenever you are looking at a new area, you're looking at, okay, what's happening here? What jobs do I need to be aware of? Is this a place that I can get a job? And just following those lists is always kind of fun too. So who knows? Maybe someday my business will be on it. All right, let's see here. I saw a question over here. What's the super and hypercar scene like here? I can tell you, I'm not 100% sure. I do, however, have a former team member who was super into the car scene here. I know it exists, but he was going to Charlotte and Atlanta for some of the bigger meets, the bigger shows, so on and so forth. Not sure if that helped, but if I can help connect you to him, his name is Aaron, and he's really cool. And I know that he would know the answer to any car questions, especially the super and the hypercars. All right, so let's just keep going here. Because I have another event that, again, if you're planning your trip here to Greenville, I highly, highly, highly recommend doing it in October. Okay. So Fall for Greenville is one of the things that just, I think a lot of people, they either love it or they hate it. I can tell you that I've been, and I'm just not a massive crowd person, but there's over 150,000 people that come out for Fall for Greenville. There's over 80 concerts, 60 food vendors. Now, Aubree, what is Fall for Greenville? Well, one, it happens in the fall. There it is. But what it also is it's the restaurants that come out. And like, let's say you've never been to Juniper, or you've never been to Gianna's, or hey, if you could try the shrimp and grits from Roost without actually going and ordering the big thing of shrimp and grits at Roost, that'd be cool. So that's what Fall for Greenville is it's one, concerts, so musicians, so many musicians. There's, I think, 5 or 6 stages, all lined up and down Main Street. They block off Main Street for the weekend. It starts on a Thursday and it goes all weekend. But here is basically what happens. And this is, again, another great article. So if you are looking to make a trip, Fall for Greenville goes October 11th through the 13th. Admission is free. However, you do have to buy tickets for beverages, other than, so any and all beverages, and then food. And you can, and I would recommend pre-ordering your tickets. That way you don't have to stand in line, and you can just show up, grab tickets, and go. But Fall for Greenville is one of those things that I think everybody has to experience at least once or twice. So definitely go for the food, live music, and then, like, again, beer, wine, sodas, so on and so forth. But this is just one of those things where you see the lineup here. You can see, like, they've got all the different musicians and food, and I'm looking for the list of who's going to be there. But White Wine and Butter, Larkins, just Roost, like I said, they are all going to have tents there, and it's a massive event. Usually the weather is really nice. It is a rain or shine event. It does happen all weekend. And I think the only year that they didn't have it was during COVID. So they did cancel Fall for Greenville once. But it's outside. It's a lot of fun. All right. So make your trip plans mid-October, 11th through 13th, and make sure you're here at least at some point to experience Fall for Greenville. Okay, so here's the other thing next. So I saw this. I thought this was fun. As you know, I love food. And so there is a new restaurant. So it's Chef 21 sushi burger and Korean barbecue. Sounds a little interesting, but what caught my attention was this picture right here. So it's a glass that has a tea infused cocktail. And to me, that just doesn't look like a cup. I don't know. So I thought it was fun and I can't wait to go. So this is something that again, like I'm just like, if I can find something new and different and weird, definitely would recommend. So again, it's called Chef 21 Sushi Burger and Korean Barbecue. It's here in Greenville. And the owner here says that she wants to make it very much an Instagrammable spot. So here's something I want to chat about Greenville. Okay. So an Instagrammable spot. That is so many different places around the upstate that just you walk in and you go, wow, this is cool or this is pretty. There's multiple coffee shops that I can tell you to go to that you walk in and go, okay, yeah, like they thought through the design of this place. Restaurants as well. Juniper is one of the big ones here that, I mean, if you're looking for unique live music during dinner, I've gone multiple times and they always have musicians, either someone playing violin or flute or a saxophone, and they walk around the restaurant while you're eating. And it's so unique. It's so fun. Dancers, so on. But that's just a example. And it's a place that you're going to need a reservation. And you can't just make the reservation like today for tonight. It needs to be at least a couple weeks in advance. And a couple places like that. But it's worth it to go at least once. So with that, just as a reminder, Greenville has a lot of really nice restaurants, of really cool places to go and be and experience something different than like your mainstream stuff. Okay, so I told you at the beginning of the show tonight that I was going to talk to you about a hot button topic that comes up a lot. And personally, I have some big feelings about it. So let's chat about it. Let me pull up the article. All right. Greenville is paying $10.7 million for 6 acres downtown. And it's saying that it will be for affordable housing. Now, what does that mean and where exactly is this? So for it to be downtown, it has to be within city limits. And here's what's happening. So we have a blessing and a curse. All right. And it's called this terrible word. It's called gentrification. And what ends up happening is people who have lived in an area, and specifically, and I know it's happening everywhere, and we have to be smart about how we do it. But it's happening everywhere. It's called gentrification. And what this means is that the 80-year-old mill house that, it's had 2 owners, and the current owners of that house are in their 80s and they can't afford the taxes on the house anymore. Or it's someone who's rented the house for their entire adult life and they can't afford the rent anymore because the rent has gone up, because the taxes have gone up, because the cost of living has gone up. And specifically, this article that talks about the gentrification of Greenville. And what's important to know is not necessarily like how much Greenville is paying for the acreage, but that it says that it's doing this for affordable housing. Well, what is affordable housing? Is it a, quick, really fast put up house that's going to break everything's going to start breaking in 5 years. But hey, you can buy it for $200,000. Is that affordable? Or, you know what? Hey, my neighbor lives in a $2 million house because they live downtown Greenville and have that style of home. Okay. Or is it a bunch of duplexes? Or is it coming in under the guise of affordable housing, but that affordable housing starts at $350,000, which is the average price range of a Greenville house. So I think we have to watch this. Now, the article specifically, and I think you guys that if you watch the channel, you watch my videos, we are in the South and there is a racial conversation that happens here and it sucks. Okay. And it's just something that I even hate that it gets brought up. But in this article, it talks about how an area is more a white, rich area, and it's pushing out the Black neighborhoods. And I don't want to mince the words on it for you. And I'm not really sure what to say about it, other than this is a good, solid picture of Greenville gentrification, because in the areas around downtown and the affordable housing, we have the conversation around, well, this street, you can buy $400,000 houses. The next street over is an average price point of $800, or say $300,000 houses, or just affordable rental housing. What does that look like? How much is that? And I see the affordable housing community having the conversation around it, but not necessarily like providing a lot of information about what happens next, because that property has housing on it. And it's housing that's falling apart. And so how do you create affordable housing in the area? Because at the same time too, you need people who take some of the lower paying jobs that can live close by, who can live close to some of our public transportation. And what's happening is these people that have lived in these neighborhoods their entire lives, or grown up in these neighborhoods, their entire lives, are getting pushed out further and further and further, and they can't make it back into Greenville for some of the serving jobs, the service jobs, so on. And it's just a very interesting conversation. And again, I hate that it's per the article that I looked up, it's a racial conversation. Because here's the deal. I don't care if you're yellow, purple, brown, black, white, whatever, red, it doesn't matter. So we're all people, and that's how that works. So, the conversation is very difficult. Like I'll give you a good example. The house that I went to today last year, when my clients bought it, was an original mill house. It had very little updating, and it had so much work that needed to be done. They bought the house for $155,000 last year, within 5 minutes of downtown Greenville. Not within downtown, but hop in the car and you're there in 3 minutes. Today they went and they put the work into the house, and they wanted to, and they were going to stay there, and some life things changed, and now it's a $380,000 house, could potentially be upwards of a $400,000 house. And so that's something that's a perfect picture of gentrification. They didn't set out to not live there. But prices go up whenever you make something a little bit nicer. So do we make things a little bit nicer? What's affordable? What is that question? And that's a big hot topic here around the upstate, is how do we make affordable housing that's actually affordable, that is open to all people? And it's not the race conversation. It's an income conversation. It's what is your income? It's a debt conversation of like, what's your income to debt ratios? Because here's the thing, if you're only making $40,000 a year, and that's the job that you can have, you should be allowed to go get affordable housing upwards of $50,000 to $60,000 a year. I think there's a cap on it. I've helped clients buy into programs that are specifically for affordable housing. So yeah, I think it's a great conversation to have. It's an important conversation to have. It's something that we need to be around and know what's going on. So if you have any questions though, and you're like, Aubree, where can we go to find out more information? Or what can we do about this? So the Greenville mayor, Knox White, is a great place to start. Making sure that you show up at the council meetings, getting involved in the community is so important because we're having these conversations not just in Greenville. They're happening in Travelers Rest. They're happening in Greer. They're happening in Easley. They're happening in Simpsonville, so on and so forth. What are we doing to keep up with the mass influx of wonderful, cool people that are coming here to the upstate? What are we doing about that? So I think it's important. I think it's a conversation that I like to have. And it's an open two-way conversation. If you disagree with me, that's fine. You don't have to agree with me. But if you agree with me, that's cool. It'd be a fun conversation. I wonder how much impact we could have on the world if we did something about it. So anyways, guys, all right. Well, hey, that's what I've got for you tonight. If you've enjoyed this show, make sure you share it with a friend for me because I'm actively trying to grow our community here. I have a show every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And next week is going to be fantastic. So I'm going to have my lender friend back on the show. Brian McIntosh with Homeowners Financial is going to be here, and he's going to talk to us about interest rates, what he thinks is happening with the market. He's going to get super technical. He's going to go granular for us. That way you understand what you're getting into, and you have a trusted resource whenever you are looking to make your move here and get your pre-approval done. So with that, y'all, I enjoyed chatting with you guys tonight. I hope I provided some valuable information for you, and I will catch you next week, same time, same place, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye.